it's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior Live. I'll be your host today. Please put in the chat where you're from and who you are. When we start reviewing the news articles, if you want to look at our Facebook page, just click here and you can follow the articles along as we go. See you in a moment. Good morning or afternoon or wherever you are. Yeah, I'm Ron Brown with Tech for Senior Live. I'll be your host today, and we are going to be with you for the next hour. We're going to be with you for the next hour, and welcome if you're here listening on YouTube. Welcome, or Facebook, welcome. If you're on a YouTube short, welcome. Just hit the button and it'll take you right to the show. If you are here and if you're over on our Zoom feed, which of course is for our Monday show, you're in the wrong place. You better go over to our Tech for Senior website and log in there, and you'll see the big button that'll take you to the two feeds that we stream this from YouTube or StreamYard out to YouTube and Facebook. Today is about an hour-long show, and we're going to talk about a bunch of topics today, tech news. We're going to talk about, of course, the disaster in Canada about Netflix charging and all the things that are happening with that, but it's coming south, so we want to talk about that and prepare you. We're going to talk about, of course, the Gonzalez case for the Supreme Court that's there now, and of course, are you willing to pay $15 a month for Facebook? Do you want to be charged for Facebook? And so all those interesting topics to talk about, and to get opinions from everyone, I have assembled a great group of people to talk to you today. These are learned people that are across the very cold country this morning. A lot of people. Well, Huey's, you're always from Florida. You're always happy, but man, it's cold out there. So if you are out there and you're listening, let us know how cold it is. We don't know. We can't see you. We have no idea who's out there listening today. Could be, or maybe we're just maybe we're just listening. Maybe we're just going to talk about ourselves today. I don't know. So if you
doesn't matter, we have fun doing it.
Comment, questions, suggestions, just put it in the chat, and we'll have a look at that. So this is a Tech for Senior Live, but we're actually all from our Monday show, which is Tech for Senior, and that's our big show on Monday. That is a Zoom meeting. We've been doing it now. We're just coming into our fourth year. 152 is our next episode. So we've done 152 episodes. So we're on our Monday show. So that's where we reside on Monday. And so I'd like to introduce, of course, my co-host on Monday, which is Huey Popluk. Huey's a good friend of mine, and he's always bragging about being from Florida, except when the hurricanes hit, then he's not so happy, right? But right now he's pretty happy because the rest of us in North America pretty much are freezing, right? It's pretty darn cold out there.
Yeah, I had some ice in my margarita yesterday.
Yeah. But, you're awful.
But it's 84 right now. And,
it is it? Yeah.
And it's only going to 69 tonight. So
yeah,
the weather here is gorgeous. I did want to add, as far as the chat goes, please, especially if you're brand new to us or relatively so, and have never left a message or have never chatted with us, if you would not chat, but in the comments, if you would put in there that you're new and how you found us. We'd love to know. And we don't know you're there unless you type something in.
And Huey, just to remind everybody, after this show is finished, we're doing Learning Chromebooks, which of course is a 1-hour session on Chromebooks. We'll be doing that for 2 years now. And you can find the information about that at www.techforsenior.com.
Yeah, and it's going to be a good show today.
I think so. Yep, it's going to be a good one. So lots happening this morning. So I'm glad I'm inside and in a nice warm house rather than outside trying to do something because it's cold. Speaking of being cold, Bob, what's happening in Los Lunas, New Mexico? Bob, of course, is our security expert, a man of many talents. He is a prolific producer. That's pretty good alliteration, eh? Prolific producer of videos on YouTube and regular on our show on Monday. Bob, are you? What's the weather like in New Mexico?
Well, yesterday we had 70-mile-an-hour winds. I have tumbleweeds all over the place, and I'm just going to wait for the next wind that goes in the opposite direction to get rid of them. Plain and simple. When we first started talking about an hour ago amongst ourselves, it was 41 degrees. Now it's 39 degrees. We're going in the wrong direction. Huey, send some of that stuff up to us, would you please?
Well, and Ray, now the next person we'll introduce, of course, Ray is our music director from our Monday show, but also a man of many talents. He's the president of APCUG and also the treasurer. He's a techie, music expert, all sorts of experts here today. Thanks for coming, Ray. And how's Pine, Arizona? You're usually up in the snow. What's happening with you?
You know, we had a forecast of really a torrential storm coming our way and all kinds of warnings. And the wind was there, maybe not quite as bad as Bob's, but certainly we had a lot of wind. My gutters are starting to come down and there's icicles dripping, but the snow was only about 2 to 3 inches. So that wasn't bad. But the main roads in our area continue to be closed due to ice conditions. And as an example, right now it's 34 degrees outside. And typically this time of day, it's in the 40s, upper 40s. So we're getting much colder weather than normal.
So I wanted to show everyone something that, you might feel hard done by your local weather, but I want to show you something that'll make well, let's have a look at this and tell me what you think. Now, this is off the webcam this morning. Those of you who subscribe to our Tech for Senior newsletter know that I think was it last week I showcase a website once a week and or a YouTube channel. And this YouTube channel is a pair of eagles that is in Northern California. And this is a webcam they've set up. And this mom has 2 eggs under here. And I've been watching her for a month and the eggs haven't hatched. And yesterday I checked in on her and she was doing fine, although it was really blowing. You could see the tree blowing back and forth. And then I checked in this morning and there she is in the snow.
She doesn't look very happy either.
No, I'm thinking that now. Anyway, that's so I thought I'd show everyone that because no matter but what a view. I mean, man, oh man, she's got a great view to watch. But there's 2 eggs under there. And each year she hatches a couple of eggs and they raise their kids and you can watch them all on the webcam. And it's sort of interesting. So she doesn't, of course, want to leave those eggs now because they're going to get awful cold.
Yeah. One of my neighbors said we've have a cell tower right next to us next to our village. And the Eagles got pushed away when they updated to 5G on the tower. And it looks like one of the Eagles is back on the tower. They were there. So hopefully there were a couple of nests of eagles. And of course, I'm a member of the Fraternal Order of Eagles, and I live in their retirement community called Eagle Village. So I'm eagled out.
So, Huey, is there anyone listening to us? Are we talking? Is there anyone out there?
Yeah, actually, there's a few people. Let's take a look at what we've got here. Let's go all the way to the top.
Bernardo, Sterling Heights Computer Club, Detroit, Michigan, freezing rain. Bob Baxter, Bellevue, Pushing weather north. Sorry, Ron.
Bob.
I have Flex on an old Dell Win 10 laptop. There you go.
Yeah, he was having some trouble getting it on there, and he sent me an email, and I hadn't answered it, but it looks like he solved whatever the issue was, and he did get it on there, so that's great.
Great.
I'm running it on an HP.
Hopefully he'll, Bob, I hope to see you at our Learning Chromebook session in another hour. All right. Gerald Smith, West Seattle, cloudy, 29 degrees. That's below freezing. Stu Bortorf, beautiful Florida day. Yes.
Yeah, and Stu has the Chromebook group in the Tampa area, and I'm sure he'll be joining us in the next session as well.
Joan Grieg from Victoria, BC. Cold. Yes, it is. Just down south. Olive Cousin, like number 3 from the snowy Willamette Valley of Oregon. Dawn, good morning. Good morning, Dawn. Sally, yesterday snow almost gone. Now 28 degrees. Liz, hi from Ohio. Sunny and 59 degrees. Oh, warm in Ohio, eh? Clark, near Trenton, New Jersey, it is 42 degrees Fahrenheit, heading to 62. Sun trying to peek between the clouds. Well, there you go. Olive, we've been getting asked to log into our Roku continually. Does anyone know why this keeps happening?
I'm not sure.
Roku made some updates recently. I think there's been some software updates that may have something to do with it.
I try signing out and then signing back in.
Resetting it. Yeah, restart it.
Yeah. On if it's a Roku TV, I would unplug it so it definitely is off, and then what you're doing is rebooting your TV. If it's a Roku box, I would unplug it and then plug it back in.
Oh, just before you go to the next one, Huey, did anyone notice change in Facebook this morning? There's a whole new way of posting. Did anyone get nailed with all that stuff? It's all changed now. Did you notice any change in posting stuff to Facebook? Okay.
It was a while ago that I had it.
No, this has just occurred this morning, and I got that all changed. But anyway, okay, all right. So, all right, let's go on to the next one. Edie Taylor Richards, Prescott, 31 degrees, sunny, but awaiting another snowstorm.
Yeah, the weather on ours are pretty much the same all the time. I know, right. Edie.
Bill says, good morning. Good morning, Bill. Clark Walker, 30 minutes south in Philadelphia. It is 51 degrees and expecting 75 degrees by 4 p.m. Well, that's good. I'd be happy with that. I'm about 15 minutes.
So would I.
Clark says I'm about 15 minutes from where the tornado touched down on Tuesday. Yikes. We actually had in Silver Ridge, we had a man and his wife who were older couple, and they went back to, it was in the northern states in a tornado area, and their house got hit by a tornado and his wife got killed. And he came back the next year to Silver Ridge. I can't remember his name, but I had a long talk with him, and it was quite an amazing story. The eagle is probably not a happy camper. I don't know if eagles really have it didn't look very warm, but apparently they have amazing coats on them. Ivana, good morning, Ivana. Good morning. Olive says, does the cell signal affect the eagles hatching chicks? I don't know.
I think it was mainly disturbing the whole, because they put a new thing up on.
Yeah, it was people working up there is what
right.
is what did it.
where the picture I showed, if you watch that view, it must be on the top of a mountain because like the view is all down the coast. It's that tree is on the top of a mountain and a very tall tree, and there's nobody around it. So it's
Yeah, I think what she's talking about is the cell tower
yeah,
near me with the eagles in it, and I don't think it affects them at all.
right.
The only thing it might do is the chicks might be born with Wi-Fi built in.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Bob.
And now with AI as well.
Yeah, artificial intelligence. All right, get on to the next one. Ed, hello from Central New Jersey. Olive says another TV with Roku Ultra does not seem to need signing in. Maybe it does it automatically. Yeah, my Roku, I don't have to sign in each time unless I haven't signed in for a long time. Okay, good. All right, well, let's get on with some of the articles I want to talk because we got a lot of things to cover today. Let me just come down here and I want to talk to show everybody. The first thing we want to talk to about is Netflix. Netflix officially kills password sharing in Canada this week. All right. So we got clobbered first. And the reason I wanted to tell you about this because people aren't happy. No, that's not the one. Darn it. Where was my other? I had one more. Anyway, the people are not happy about this because it's causing a lot of grief. And about 30% of people that have a Netflix account have the password sharing option enabled. So it's caused a lot of grief in Canada, particularly for people sharing passwords and people who have extra units at the cottage and stuff like that. So nobody's very happy with Netflix right now. I guess so the issue is that you have to live in the same house with the same IP address in order to share a password. So as soon as you move out of that house and you move to a different IP address, then it's not going to work. And the other thing that's interesting, if you have multiple sites that you're going to be using Netflix on, you have to identify the IP address of your main account through the TV. You can't do it on the mobile app, your PC. You've actually got to do it through the TV as an option in the Netflix actual app on the TV. It has to be done on the TV. So I guess the problem is coming for you guys. Huey, any comments or thoughts on it? What's
number one, I don't share any password, and two, I get Netflix for free as a T-Mobile customer.
Okay, that's a good. Yeah, that's because you get it free, right?
Yep.
But that's going to be ending.
No, it's T-Mobile offers it for free as a customer, and it says as long as you have the T-Mobile account, it's free.
Okay. And Bob, do you share with your kids? Do you share any passwords or anything like that?
I don't use Netflix.
Oh,
I dropped Netflix many years ago when they stopped offering the
CDs,
DVDs as part of the service.
Okay. All right. Well, one of the things that it is projected that Netflix is going to lose a lot of customers, but the revenue from the revenue that they're going to make up for reselling, for sales of people that can't get it, is probably going to make up for that. But there are going to be a lot of people they're really upset about this. Ray, have you heard anything in your neck of the woods about it?
Oh, just what we've seen in the news, that this is coming to the U.S. at some point in time, and for the same, they'll do it the same way. They'll check the IP address, and it has to be the one from the main person. I think this is a business decision that Netflix has made, and the way it's going to, because they're hoping that those that get kicked off because they're not the primary holder will open up their own account and they'll get the revenue that way. And I think half will, I don't know about half, some will and some won't. Others are going to, because there's a lot of competition out there.
Right.
And if the competition doesn't do the same thing, Netflix is going to be at a loss. But if the competition starts to do the same thing, then we'll be back to where we are now.
Yeah, but a lot of the services only allow maybe one or two instances at the same time. And if you have any more, you can sometimes pay for more, but otherwise you can't even do that on the same account.
Right.
So they were giving something, allowing something that most of them don't do anyway.
Right.
When, when Netflix stopped the DVDs, there was a big uproar at that time. And the prediction was it's going to cost them lots of money. And Netflix only kept growing and growing.
Okay.
Actually, Netflix passed that procedure on. I think it's DVD.com. And that's maybe a Netflix subsidiary that is still doing the same thing where they'll mail the DVD.
But now you have to pay for it. It's not free anymore. That's the big difference. Okay. And Netflix just kept growing. So they added another business. What used to be free is now something you have to pay for.
And I don't remember the DVD being mailed to you to be free. I always thought there was a fee involved.
Nope.
I could be wrong.
Okay.
There's still red boxes, aren't there, to get DVDs in stores?
Yep.
Yes, there is. Usually supermarkets.
So the big one this week that I wanted to talk about, this is the second article that was big news this week, was the Supreme Court is deciding on the future of the internet as it acted like it. The oral arguments for Gonzalez versus Google, and I wanted just to bring everyone's attention to this because this is a big deal, and it's and the argument for this started on Tuesday, and here's how this sort of is playing out. Gonzalez was a young person who did a mass shooting in Paris, and what happened, and his family claims that the reason that he did that was because he was radicalized, but he was radicalized through YouTube. In other words, he started looking at videos that had a political viewpoint, and YouTube, of course, kept showing him more and more. And I said earlier when we were talking about this, I said, if I want to learn how to make an omelet and I go to YouTube and search out how do you make an omelet, then YouTube's going to show me a ton of videos on how to make an omelet, right? But if you did that with a political persuasion or something that is going to give you a viewpoint, then they're going to continue to show you more and more of that, right? They're going to find all the people with the same crazy ideas that they want, and then they're going to show you more of that stuff. So the argument that they're now, what was it? There was Ray. What was the bill number that protects Google?
230.
230. Bill 230. Bill 230 protects social media like YouTube against legal liability on that. All right, and so they're arguing that their son was radicalized and YouTube was responsible, and so there should be something other than Bill 230 shouldn't apply. So this is well, it's gone to the Supreme Court, you guys. So what do you think, Huey? What's your thoughts on this? I mean, because remember, if the Supreme Court then changes the ruling on Bill 230, then YouTube could be liable, and that's going to change the whole idea of YouTube and the whole idea of how social media works. So what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I don't mean to take Bob's thunder, but I just don't think they'll act on it, and they'll just say it. They're not acting on it, and if anything needs to be done, Congress should.
But they've agreed to hear the case.
Oh yeah, well they'll listen to it, yeah, but they don't have to come to a decision.
Right.
Okay.
The decision won't happen until August.
Yeah.
And like Huey said, that's my feeling too. They'll pass the buck because it's not their expertise. The other thing to realize is that if YouTube feeds you a video or puts a suggestion out there for a video, you are the one who ultimately decides to watch that video. They are not actually, here's the video, you have no choice. Okay, you can always turn off if you turned it on by mistake. You don't have to start it in the first place. So for somebody to come along and say, well, YouTube is showing me all these things or making those things available, I'm sorry, you selected to view it. YouTube did not make you view it. But of course, I might make a big, hefty lawsuit out of this and win some money. So it's easy enough to bring it. But to say when somebody suggests that you're forced to do something, that's just not the fact.
Okay, so the Supreme Court Justice Elena Kagan made the Riley self-deprecating comment early in oral arguments. The remark was a nod to many people's worst fears about the case. Gonzalez could unwind core legal protections for internet, and it will be decided by a court that's shown an appetite for overturning legal precedent and re-examining long-standing speech law. The Gonzalez versus Google covers a very specific type of online interaction with potentially huge implications. The suit stems from an Islamic State shooting in Paris that killed student Noemi Gonzalez in 2015. Her surviving family argued that YouTube had recommended videos by terrorists and therefore violated laws against aiding and abetting foreign terrorist group. While Section 230 typically protects sites from liability over user-generated content, the petition argues that YouTube created its own speech with its recommendations. Ray, any substance to this, or?
Yes, I'm glad you read that because that clarifies. This is really a suit that's from a young woman who was killed in Paris, France in 2015 by a terrorist attack. It's not the person who did the terrorism. It's the victim's parents who are filing it.
Okay, right.
And Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, that goes back to 1996 when the internet was in its infancy, was still being built on and very, very different from what it is today. I go back to personal responsibility. The people who committed the crime are the ones who are at fault, not a video showing it. And think back when the Constitution in the USA was first passed, you had people in town square telling others what their thoughts were. Fast forward for me working down in Wall Street in the early 1960s, I can remember clearly people standing on a street corner with a megaphone talking about religious views. This has gone on. Today, we're still doing it as humans, but it's on the internet. So to me, the culprit is the terrorist, not any kind of video. That's free speech.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
and the laws about technology are so antiquated anyway. For instance, here in the state of Florida, it's illegal to record them speaking or their voices without their permission, without their written permission, actually, but without their permission. But it's not illegal to video them, long as you don't have the audio, because no one ever made a law about it being illegal to do the video. So you can you can wear a hidden camera. You just can't turn the microphone on.
Okay. All right. Let me finish that. The last one I want to talk about is Facebook and Twitter are charging for added security. Here's what that means for you. And Meta wants to charge you $12 a month for added security.
Basically, it's not security. They're only assuring you that the person who does the tweet or the post in Facebook is the genuine article.
Is who they say they are.
And I'm sorry, if you don't want to read it, don't read it. But I'd be darned if I'm going to pay for either Instagram or Twitter or Facebook.
Okay. Huey, any comments?
No, I agree with Bob. We all watch it or use Facebook or Instagram or Twitter because it's free. If they start charging, probably a good deal of the people won't have anything to do with it.
Well, so far there are very few people that have taken Facebook up on this. There's very, very small. If you read the article, there's a very small number that have actually contributed to this charge. Ray, any comments on it? Do you have
I think this is really for people who are celebrities and somebody else has copied their name and you don't know whether or not you're really speaking to the real one.
Okay.
This is verifying who the individual is. Now, for me, I don't use Facebook. I have an account that once a year I might update. So, I'll never need to pay any fee for Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, Mike has a couple of comments I'd like to go ahead and show.
Yeah, why don't we? Mike Ungerman says currently censoring of YouTube content has forced many political organizations to go to Odyssey and other independent video hosting sites. Okay. YouTube's own AI on how they recommend videos to a viewer needs more user interaction. Thumbs up, thumbs down isn't sufficient. Mike is, just let everyone know that Mike is a regular on our show. He's a contributor and popular series on EV, which is great. Thanks, Mike, for your comment. Is that
You're
the only
locked.
2 comments more?
You
or-
dropped out.
Yep, that was it. And you were locking up. So
Yep.
not everything you said was
Okay.
heard.
I just said, anything else we need to talk about? Okay, let's share my,
Let's do some
Screen.
news articles.
and we'll get to,
Oh, let me switch over to Facebook.
and we'll come over here. Now, for
As
those
far as
of
I'm
you-
concerned, you do not have to update.
for
Yeah,
those
go
of,
first.
for those of you who want to follow us directly, this is our Facebook link, and these are the articles that we will we'll have on today. Can I go up one more? Just a minute here.
We're back. I lost all of us. I don't know whether everybody
Mhm.
else did or not.
No, I think it was on your end, Yui.
Okay.
All right, I think we're okay here. All right, maybe a little bit bigger. See what we can do here. All right, let's come down the list here and see who got the first article to talk about. Is it Huey? Did you get the first article? Yes, you
Looks
did.
like it, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, well, you were on the mark today.
Yep. Microsoft brings the new Bing to smartphones and Skype, of all things Skype. I
They own
guess somebody still uses Skype. I don't.
I think
I
they own
haven't used
Skype.
it in years. But they're also, and I went ahead and installed the Bing on my Galaxy S22 Ultra as well. It's an app that you get from the Google Store, and it's free.
Mm-hmm. Okie doke. Item 2, you got the second one. Go ahead.
Yeah, Starlink bumps up residential pricing for some while lowering it for others in the latest update. What they're doing is they're bumping it up to $120 for some in areas that are highly congested, and then in other ones they're lowering it to as low as $90 a month. So depending upon where you're located, could make a difference in what you're being charged. And then they're also raising the price for the remote. If you're in a camper or something, you're going to be traveling, that's going to go to $200 a month.
All right. Bob, this came out this morning. You've always been asking me, Ron, what's happening with the Apple Watch and glucose monitoring? What's happening? Because I've been talking about this for a very long time.
Mhm.
So this is an article that came out this morning. And unfortunately, all as it says in the article, when you read it, is they're still working on it. Apple's still they haven't forgotten about it. But just to let Bob know, Apple wants to let you know that it is in the works, but it won't be coming shortly. So why, I don't know.
Dear Apple, my time is short. Waiting a bunch of years isn't going to help me any. So please get on the ball.
So I just thought I would bring that up. That came out this morning, and there's really nothing there other than saying, hey, they're working on it. So I guess, did I post this? Yeah. This Meta Verified shows the company's running out of ideas.
That's correct. They got that directly from another service.
They did.
They even have the amount the same as the other service.
They did. So anyway, interesting. Healy.
Yeah, I saw this today and I had never heard of it. It's called FIDE OS, and it's similar to the Flex OS, but it comes out of China, so I don't know whether I bite on it or not. And it's not easy to install. You got several different pieces and parts that you have to install, but I did watch the video, and it is interesting, and it is apparently free, and you download it and a couple other things. So it does allow you to use the Android apps in a flex type of system, and you can also run Linux with it as well.
While quietly sharing all your information with the Chinese government.
Yeah, well, that's all right. I don't speak Chinese anyway,
Right.
so it doesn't matter.
This was interesting. It was published this morning. Chat GPT launches boom in AI written ebooks on Amazon. So there are a lot of books being written by AI, and I thought that's weird. And anyway, this is really taking off. I don't know if people are buying those ebooks. There's lots of more ebooks coming out, but anyway, interesting. That was an interesting story. And of course, we covered this earlier. Microsoft brings the new AI chatbot to Bing smartphone apps.
Yep.
So they are moving ahead. Huey.
Yeah, the article says Google and Microsoft's chatbots likely cost as much as 10 times a normal search to operate. And so this is the reason a lot of the services that are out there, these AI services, they're all using, a lot of them are, I should say, are using the same information. A lot of it's open source that they're getting it from, but they got to pay dearly for for it, and it's a lot more expensive than just a regular search. So that's why all of these new services are charging, and you can't subscribe to all of them. So you're going to have to pick and choose, and some of them just aren't going to make it,
right?
Or they'll get bought up or whatever.
Yeah, free now is for to develop market share, and once they've reached that plateau, then you'll see the fees coming in.
Well, most of the AI that I'm seeing out there aren't even free to test. You get, they may have a zero account, but you can use it 3 or 4 times, and that's it, or 3 or 4 times, or 1 or 2 times a month. It's severely limited for the free.
And they limit the amount of input that you can give it.
Yeah.
So this came out this morning. This is an article I posted this morning, and I thought we might talk about this next week in more depth. Amazon now offers in-person virtual doctor visits. Now, Amazon just purchased, let's have a look here. Today, Amazon announced that it completed its acquisition of One Medical. The One Medical offers in-office and 24/7 virtual care services. The new service will be started at discounted price of $144 for the first year, which is about $12 a month. And it allows the membership, you get access to offices in many US cities, and the ability to schedule or remote visit your provider, appointments that start on time, drop-in lab services, messages, compassionate doctors and providers who take blah, blah time to listen, on and on and on and on here. And so I guess I don't know. I mean, it's this was just announced today. This is a big announcement, and we'll see. And you guys got any it doesn't affect me because of course I'm in Canada, but what do you guys think about this? Is this something that's going to be,
my question is, are you getting an actual MD, or are you getting a nurse practitioner or a fellow who's about to graduate or will eventually graduate from medical school? You only require one MD, and you can have 150,000 non-MDs, but almost MDs. So big question of exactly what you're getting.
Yeah. Yep. And also, are there that many hungry of doctors out there that are willing to work for Amazon instead of being in an office?
I don't know.
So, well, it's not like the lawyers that just can't get any work, so they'll do almost anything to get customers. But doctors, I don't think are in the same boat.
I don't know.
Technically, the doctor just has to sit at a desk, and every 5 minutes has another customer for whatever they get. Right. Add it up and see how much money you can make within a day.
Right. But the other thing you have to remember now is they're combining this with their new prescription service,
Right.
their
Yeah.
delivery, their delivery. So they're really getting into healthcare. Amazon's really getting into healthcare now. So
We're
And
getting
that was
Um,
predicted a few years ago too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So this is
Yep.
happening now. I think this is good news. This is big time news. But I just, I don't know where we're going with it. So it might be worthwhile next week when more articles come out about it, to revisit this and sort of decide what's happening there. So this was the other thing that was very interesting article I read this morning. So here's the deal.
Read what it says first.
It's about the Galaxy 23 and one of the new features on it, and it's Fast Pair. Now, Bob and I have this because we have Pixel watches, and Google has brought out this product called Fast Pair, which allows pairing. The problem with Bluetooth and Bluetooth pairing is like black magic. Nobody knows how it works, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Whereas Fast Pair pairs it with your account, which makes it real easy when you're moving to different devices or different services. And it's called Fast Pair, and it's been available on the Pixel, and I like it. It does my Pixel Buds and my I've fast paired some of the items that I use, and it works great, and it's a lot better than the old Bluetooth. Now, this service just got put on the Galaxy S23 as it's rolling out on Android services to different phones. And this is the second one I know of. And the Galaxy 23 has this. And it's Android's new Fast Pair setup process is awesome on the Galaxy S23. What I think people need to look at is read the article and understand what Fast Pair is. Because if I was looking for a new phone now, I would sure want one that had the capability of fast pairing, because it really gets rid of all this crap with Bluetooth, right? It still uses a type of Bluetooth, but it's tied to your account. And once it's paired into your account, then it doesn't matter what device you're running it on. So just to let you know, I thought it was interesting that people should understand what Fast Pair is and to watch for it in the future, and have a look at the article. Ray, Arizona's, oh my gosh.
Well, once again, with the CHIP Act that was passed, that's $52 billion that was passed by the Congress last year. That's pushing more chip manufacturing into the United States. And Arizona is kind of at the top of that list. We had Intel continuing to build new plants. The Taiwan company that makes the AMD chips, they have a new plant going on. So Arizona is becoming a leader in this area as far as chip production in the U.S. More chip production here, less chip production in China.
Ray, is it because of energy, electricity, or what's the reason?
One of the comments surprisingly said the reason one company was looking at Arizona instead of California, which has so many tech companies, is Arizona does not have earthquakes. And I think we have a labor force here. It's a popular destination for people because of the warm climate in the winter. So I think all those are leading to it. The one thing I worry about, of course, always is water in a desert. But most of these companies say that the water they use, they're able to push 99% of it back into the system. So they're not using that much water. Time will tell.
Interesting. Well, very interesting. Also, Taylor Swift.
All right, so this is talking about how much money is generated with music artists these days, and it provides a chart. And this is what I found so interesting, that according to the author is the global rankings to measure consumption. Now, consumption means all formats. So you have streaming, digital, physical album sales, or physical single in all countries. So Taylor Swift made the most money from the chart. But there was an artist known as Bad Bunny. I never heard of Bad Bunny, beating her out for the number one spot, because this Bad Bunny, he's a Puerto Rican singer, has streaming in the billions, not in the millions of people, billions, and billions audio and video, and has put him in the number one spot. Now they list a chart of 20 names. Of the 20 names, only 11 I recognized. I don't know any songs they've done. I just recognize the name. The Saving Grace was number 19. It was a band some of us may remember. They were called the Beatles.
Oh, well, there we go. Yeah, I remember the Beatles. Bad Bunny, though. I got to listen.
You got listen to bit. Yeah, I listened to a couple of songs. They're mostly rap, all in Spanish, the Spanish language.
Well, there you go.
Puerto Rico.
Interesting. Before we move on, Huey, any comments we should deal with?
Well,
or-
let's you caught me off guard here.
Ray, are we going to get a Bad Bunny as our outro on the Monday show?
Absolutely not.
Let's see, that one we covered.
All right.
In that one. No, that was the last one. Okay, here we are.
Okay. Olive says, well said, Bob. Vaporware helps no one. Mike says, I spent over an hour trying to compare the costs of web and domain hosting services. Then a query to Chat GPT gave me excellent responses with the proviso that the data was through 2021 only. Olive says, do you still call the lowest scoring graduate from doctor's school a doctor? Any now we have other alphabet people doing the same as a doctor. Yeah, well, it will be interesting, as Bob said, who actually is going to staff this service, and of course, where they're going to find physicians, and whether you'll be seeing a physician's assistant or whether you'll be seeing a actual doctor. I know that when I was in Mesa and I went to Fry's had urgent medical clinics in their grocery stores, and I was talking to one of the people working there, and they're all physician assistants. There was no physicians there. So interesting. Don't know the answer to that.
Ron, what's the length of time difference between a PA and an actual MD?
Oh, there's a huge difference. A physician's
Right.
assistant, a physician is usually 7 years of medical training, and graduating from a medical school, right? Whereas a physician's assistant is, they would have different training. They could be paramedics, they could be nurses, they could be coming from different backgrounds, and they generally probably take a two-year course in addition to their existing training.
And as far as I know, you only require one actual MD. I don't know how many they can supervise.
Don't know. Well, so it's an interesting one to follow because it's just started, and it would be interesting to see how it all works out. Ray,
And don't forget, Amazon started as a bookstore.
yeah,
That's correct.
That is
I
amazing.
think you heard that first on Tech for Senior Live. For seniors.
Gen Z likes iPhones.
Okay, so Gen Z, and those are people born between 1997 and 2012. 34% of them own an iPhone, as compared to us older folks that are evenly split between iOS and Android. Now, the article doesn't really explain why this has happened, so I'm going to give you my thoughts on it and my impression. The Apple icon that is, so you can see that in that photo, so clearly shows on the iPhone is a status symbol that shows the user was willing to pay about 3 times more for an iPhone than a similarly equipped Android phone. And it reminds me of Guess Jeans. Remember Guess Jeans back in the 80s, the 70s and 80s, I guess? The wearer would buy a $70 pair of Guess Jeans because the label was on the outside. And anybody looking at that label then automatically knew this person was willing to pay $70 for a pair of jeans that otherwise would be a third of that price. Now, the last paragraph of this article is my very favorite. The last says, there is one Android product that has the potential of driving Gen Z customers away from the iPhone. What is it? The one I own, the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip.
That's right, because it has sex appeal, right? Right?
It's a novelty, but it is something that's different. And when it's different, people look at it, and that's what I think drives this. So you see that, oh, a person has an Apple phone.
There you
Wow.
go. There you go.
One thing that was confusing in this, as much as they like the Apple phone, they hate the text app within the Apple phone. iChat is not something they like. They like the one that comes from Google, and that's been an ongoing battle.
All right. Well, very interesting, right? Very, very interesting. Tech for this is those of you who Ray, did you have any trouble? Don't you use Hotmail or use Outlook?
I use Outlook.
Did you have any
I have a
trouble?
Hotmail account that I just have as my main account for Windows, but I don't use it for anything else other than that. But I do use Outlook as my email client.
Okay.
I do as well, and I have had no problems with my Gmail account that I read through it. I think it's the other way around.
So
I think it's if you read
if you anyway, I just want to let people know, if you did have trouble this week, there was a recognized problem of syncing of Hotmail and Gmail. So and or Outlook. So just let people know that it was a no. If you did have problems this week and you're scratching your head saying, "Hey, why is this working?" There was a problem, and it's I'm not sure if it's fixed now, but that should be fixed shortly.
Thank you. That's good to know.
Bob, are you a physician's assistant, or what's an Apple what are you what's going on here?
No, I'm not a physician's assistant, but I am pretty good at doing research. And sometimes I even do a good job of putting a video together.
No, you're getting better. Or hold on, is artificial intelligence getting better? Be honest now.
If you use artificial intelligence and you pay for it, is it still considered artificial intelligence?
Excellent. Very,
very good. Very interesting. Very interesting. Well, anyway, we will be, of course, playing this and many more of Bob's videos on our Monday show. So we'll move on. Chrome's memory and yes, this was interesting. And this is not just Chrome OS. This is your Chrome browser. Chrome's memory and battery saver modes are rolling out to everyone. And I have it on all mine Chrome.
Yeah. I've had it for a while. In essence, It puts an unused tab to sleep. So it's not using resources. And when you go back to it, if you have 15 tabs open and you go back to one that you haven't used for quite some time, it wakes it up and then it refreshes it. But if you're not using it but you do have it open, it shouldn't be using resources.
Now, the reason that I brought this up and I put this article in is just to let everyone know that it is there. Now, most people, it's turned on automatically, it's running, and it's not a problem. You'll never really know that it's there. But if you do have something like a specific app that you're using all the time, you can put that in the list so that it is always on and it doesn't go into sort of hibernation, right, Bob?
Yeah, a specific link.
Right.
Or a specific tab that you have open all the time.
What about Zoom? Do you think that'd be a good one to put Zoom in there?
Why? I use the app itself in Zoom. I'm not using a tab in the browser.
Okay.
Now, if you don't have the app installed and you only use the app in your browser and you want to have that as a tab that's there, as I said, it turns itself right back on when you go to use it. So
apparently I need to know how to turn that on for StreamYard, because that's what was happening. I was looking at our Facebook page when I went back to StreamYard. It was refreshing the screen, so everything had been gone, and all I got was little circles for a few seconds. So apparently that went to sleep.
That's correct.
Oh, that's why.
And also it depends on your settings. Because you have some settings that determine when it actually goes to sleep, like when you're on battery or when you're down to below a certain percentage. So all of those things are things to consider when You go into the settings.
Right. It's very easy to turn off as well. So I mean,
Yes.
you can turn it off if you don't want it.
Yep.
Okay. Does anyone have $5,000?
Nope.
So who wants a new TV? This is Samsung's new 2023 8K LED TV starts at $5,000. Any takers?
What is broadcasted these days in 8K?
I don't know.
Not very much.
How could you?
I
But
see
Ray,
one
you
video. I see
You
could-
want to
one
live
video.
on the edge of technology. This
Yeah.
They
is
can
the
say it's
TV for you.
16K and you wouldn't know.
I
You
saw
could- you
one
could-
that was broadcast at 12K, and it looked the same to me as one that was broadcast at 4K, because it depends on your set.
Ray, you could have people over and say, hey, you want to come over and watch movies on my 8K TV.
Charge admission. You pay for it.
And then get my VHS player out.
Right. Ray, did you see this article? This was YouTube Music officially launches Create a Radio on Android and iOS.
I did not see this particular article. I've heard about this, but I don't know much about it.
So basically, this is you can take different music channels and feed it into a common channel on your I guess this is on your smartphones, and it will play from multiple sources for a feed for you. For example, like normally if you're on YouTube Music and you're listening to a channel, then the music will all be on that channel. But this is a way you can feed multiple channels in, and they call it a Create a Radio. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. It just was announced. I don't have this yet. It's not on my. It's not released yet in to me. But just to let everyone know this is coming. And if it might be something you're interested in.
I will look for that, and because I'm actually putting together for our Monday show in a few weeks a little session on playlists, using playlists.
Okay.
With your phones.
Good. So there. Don't forget your playlist, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah, we do. Let's see. We've talked about
We
that
already covered
one.
that.
So the other one that was interesting was this is an article I saw. Now, NVIDIA earnings overshadowed by Microsoft, ChatGPT, OpenAI, and 10-year gaming partnership. Well, in fact, because of the increasing horsepower recorded for AI, this is actually going to work in a positive effect for NVIDIA, which makes, of course, graphics cards and uses in memory. So I thought it was interesting. They're looking forward to that. If you have Spectrum, you might be getting some money back. Spectrum just lost a lawsuit over poor internet service and unenforceable terms of service. So interesting there. Did you got anyone here? Anyone here got Spectrum or?
Off the
I have
No, I fired
Comcast
them a
and
long
it-
time ago.
I have Comcast. It's pretty much a copycat of Spectrum. So
Right.
maybe it's time to get some attorneys busy.
You got to get back out on the ocean because you had really
Uh,
great internet when you were on the seas there. Huey.
Yeah, I thought this was very interesting. AI News from AI News Roundup. OpenAI buys AI.com domains for ChatGPT. They paid $11 million for that domain name from Google. And it's the 11th largest sum of money paid for a domain name. The highest was almost $900 million paid for by Gannett newspapers for cars.com that they used to sell their cars. And they paid almost $900 million for that domain name.
Wow.
Do you know what time it is?
It is.
Yes.
It's time that we leave. So let me just stop the sharing. And Huey, any final comments that we have from everyone?
Let's see. I think there's two.
If Apple wants more phone sales, so Richard says, if Apple wants more phone sales, they just make a few new colors. And of course, everyone has to have a new color, right? Mike says one thing is guaranteed: as soon as you get the latest and greatest TV, a new standard will come out the day after you get it. Well, that's for sure.
Oh,
But just think, when you do, you do have it. You're the king of the block, right?
for a
Yeah,
day.
but that happens not only for TVs,
That
your
happens to everything.
smartphone, your laptops, your
Yeah, that's
desktops. The day after you buy it is the day something new comes out.
Bob says, I'll see you in an hour. Well, yes, don't forget, in another hour, Hugh and I will be there doing learning Chromebooks. We have a really great show for you. If you, I guess I can put our website up. The information specifically can be found at www.techforsenior.com, and you have to register to come to it. But the registration's free, and
if you're already registered, you should have got a reminder with the link that's unique to you, so you don't have to register again. And we'll see you there. Actually, I'll open up the doors about 1:30 Eastern time, which is in 30 minutes, 29 minutes.
There you go. So it gives everyone a chance for a little get up and stretch and a bathroom break, and then get back to work. All right. So I want to thank everyone for coming. Don't forget our Monday show. It's going to be a great show. We're going to talk about Raspberry Pi, not blueberry pie, but Raspberry Pi on Monday, and lots of good stuff. So we are going to see everybody then, and we will, or in an hour, we might even see you in an hour's time. So thanks for coming,
I hope
everyone.
so.
Thanks for coming, everyone. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.